Hey guys, my name is Miriam Jacobson. I am a registered dietitian living in Los Angeles, and today I am going to be showing you meal prep for beginners. Meal prep is great because all you need to do is spend a little bit of time in the beginning of your week planning things out, and what you end up with is affordable and convenient meals that are also much healthier than things that you would have picked up if you were eating meal to meal. Today we're gonna be making two different dishes so that you can keep it interesting through your week. So the first thing that we're gonna be making is a roasted veggie bowl with some eggplant and sweet potato. And the second thing that we're gonna be making is a mason jar salad that's a Greek style salad. The veggies take about an hour to roast, so we're gonna actually chop those first and put them in the oven so that we can prep our other raw ingredients while those cook. So to cut the sweet potato, I first cut the ends off. So we can chop those ends off and discard them. And then I chop it in half. We just want them to be in small enough pieces that they'll cook quickly in the oven. So I usually like to get them in 1-inch cubes. So I like to use baking sheets to roast my veggies, and I always use some parchment paper cut exactly to the width of the baking sheet so that honestly I can minimize my cleanup. So sometimes you can get away with not even washing your baking sheets when you're done with them if they're covered properly. And then I'll take some avocado oil. I'll just drizzle a little bit on here. A little salt and pepper. And I'll toss them up. So these veggies are all ready to go in the oven, and I'm gonna put the oven at 375 and roast them for about an hour, checking them about every 20 to 25 minutes. I've also done the same thing with the eggplant, and it's gonna be cooked in the same exact way. So another thing that I have also chopped up is these chicken sausages. I usually buy them pre-packaged, they're organic, nitrate-free, and they take about half the time to cook than the veggies do because they're already pre-cooked. So I'll usually chop them up once those are already in the oven, and then I'll toss them on a baking sheet and cook them for about 20-25 minutes. These are already roasted, so I'm gonna set these off to the side and we'll get started on our Greek salad. So the first step in making the Greek salad is to cook our protein. So we're gonna be using tempeh, which is a fermented soy product. So if you've never used tempeh before, it's a really great source of plant-based protein. It has about 16 grams of protein per serving and is gonna get really nice and crispy because we're gonna cook it on the stovetop. I'm just crumbling it with my fingers so that they're in small little chunks. And so as you do this, you'll see that the soybeans you can still kind of see, and so I just try to get them as small as I can because the smaller you get them, the crispier they're gonna taste. Once I crumbled the tempeh, I cooked it on the stovetop on a medium heat for about 10-15 minutes, seasoned it with some salt and pepper until it was nice and crispy and golden. So now we're ready to build our mason jar Greek salad. I have already pre-washed and pre-chopped all of the veggies that we're gonna be using. So I have sliced peppers, I have some cucumbers for you guys, and I've also pre-washed some tomatoes, which we're not gonna chop because those can get soggy if we chop them for meal prep. So I'm gonna start by layering the heavier and wetter ingredients on the bottom and then work my way up through the greens, and that really prevents this from getting soggy so that you can save it for your meal prep. So the first thing that's gonna go on the bottom is artichoke hearts. So these came from a glass jar. I just drained them and dried them on a paper towel. So there's gonna be our first ingredient. Then we'll put some tomatoes. Next we do our sliced peppers. It'll be a really nice, beautiful, colorful salad today. Sliced cucumbers. And of course our tempeh. Throw some of that in there. then also some chickpeas. The chickpeas came from a BPA-free can. I dried them on a paper towel and made sure that they were really dry before they went into the mason jar, again, to avoid any sogginess. So I then moved to my greens and my herbs to top the salad. So I have washed and chopped some parsley. So I'm gonna put some of that in there. Some green onions I've chopped, and I usually include the green part of the green onions, not just the white part of the green onions. And then I'm gonna stuff the jar with as much arugula as I can to top it off. And then I'm also gonna top it with some almond ricotta. I really like this because it is nut-based. It's a dairy-free cheese. If you're not avoiding dairy for any reason, you can include a feta or a goat cheese as well. But I really like this because it really does taste like real cheese. And there you have it. This is your mason jar Greek salad. And the last step is to just make your dressing. I like to store this on the side so that, again, it doesn't get soggy through the week. So I'll usually just put a little bit of olive oil, some lemon juice, some salt and pepper. And when I'm ready to eat it, I'll take the mason jar, pour it into a bowl, toss it all together, and then dress it with as much dressing as feels good. And that's it. So now all of the veggies are all roasted out of the oven, and we're ready to assemble our roasted veggie bowls. So the order of these matter less than the Greek salad. Again, you just wanna make sure the greens are on top. So I'm gonna start with the eggplant. Then we're gonna add some sweet potato. Now we're gonna add the roasted chicken sausage. And I'm just eyeballing on amounts, and if I need to add more or take away some, as I get to the final product, I'll do that. And then we're gonna add some of the snap peas. And so I got these all pre-washed already, and all I had to do was slice them lengthwise. If you're crunched for time, you can always just put them in the bowl as well, and that works too. And finally, because we have leftover herbs, I'm gonna add some of those herbs to the salad that I had left over from those Greek salad mason jars, and I'm gonna top the salad with some greens. So I have the leftover parsley. I'll just add a little bit. It gives it a nice flavor when you have fresh herbs in there. Some of the green onions. Of course, some almond ricotta. You can also use hummus. That's also a great addition for a bowl like this. And then finally, some arugula. And you can also use a different green if you want a little bit more variety in your meal. So we just did 2 different recipes, and it took us about an hour, and now I have meals for the whole week. So you can find me on Instagram at everybodybliss or online at everybodybliss.com. If you're a beginner looking for more nutrition guidance, I also have a 5-week on-demand nutrition course called Food Foundations. And thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon. So there you have it. I just made 6 meals for the week. If you need to make more, you can always cook some more food.